There we go. All right. So welcome everyone to our final meeting of the 10 characteristics of God's teachers, the exploration of that. And boy, they saved the best one for last, didn't they? This open-mindedness. It had been a long time since I'd read this section, and I actually reread it last night as I was creating the email to be sent out to everyone. And I went, "Oh my goodness, am I ready for this? I don't know. We'll see." So open-mindedness. Does everyone have a copy of either my email or the actual course itself that we can access the text of this right here? And if don't forget to take your turn your yes. Go ahead,
Baraka,
Mary.
I am so sorry. I was just reading it and then I didn't want to be too late. So I don't know if somebody could read it out loud. I can't do both at the same time because I'm on my phone and it's on my phone. But if somebody could read it out loud, I would appreciate that.
Okay, well, does anyone want to take the first paragraph? We have a volunteer. I'm saving myself for the last paragraph, the third paragraph. So that's mine.
I'm happy to read, but I am just looking for it.
Okay, it's section 10 of chapter 4 of the manual for teachers.
Oh, you know what? I guess I could read the first one. Now I see right here in the book.
Oh, you do have it. Okay. Hi, Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Go ahead, Mary.
I'll read the first paragraph.
Please
okay.
do, yes.
Okay, and then Margaret, maybe you read the second one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So open-mindedness, number 1, first paragraph. The centrality of open-mindedness, perhaps the last of the attributes the teacher of God acquires, is easily understood when its relation to forgiveness is recognized.
Bingo. Right there. Right there.
That's a lot.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's big. We could read that again and again. Open-mindedness comes with lack of judgment.
Oh, read that one more time.
I underlined that. Yeah, open-mindedness comes with lack of judgment. As judgment shuts the mind against God's teacher, so open-mindedness invites him to come in. As condemnation judges the Son of God as evil, so open-mindedness permits him to be judged by the voice for God on his behalf. As the projection of guilt upon him would send him to hell, so open-mindedness lets Christ's image be extended to him. Only the open-minded can be at peace, for they alone see reason for it. Whew, I have that underlined. Only the open-minded can be at peace.
Let me ask you a question. Are you reading from the original?
Oh, yeah, I'm reading from, do you see this? That's what I'm reading.
Oh, yeah. That's like
okay.
Mine, same as
all right.
mine.
That was has been edited
oh,
in your
sorry.
version. No, it's just one word. It says, so open-mindedness lets Christ's image be projected on him. And your version says what?
Ended, I think.
Well, open-minded permits him to be
let's Christ's image be
extended
on him.
Extended
on him.
to him.
Okay, so in your sparkle one, you're reading at the in the open-mindedness.
Yes, we're reading the first paragraph. Yeah.
What page is that on, please, Carolyn?
Well,
do you have it?
In the sparkle.
What page, please?
It's in the sparkle and it's in the back section.
The manual for teachers, section 4, part 10.
It doesn't show sections on the pages.
Oh,
so
it doesn't. Okay.
I don't know.
That's right.
I wanted a page if somebody.
But I have page 10. And sorry, I'm going to be sprinkling in and out, I guess. It's my computer, but I'm here.
Okay, I think I have a solution for that, by the way, Carolyn.
It's only
When we
on
get done with
Zoom.
here.
Well,
Yeah,
it's only on Zoom and I just flick it
yeah, I
off.
know.
and flick it on.
I think I have a solution for that, and we'll fix that after we're done with this, okay?
Yeah, it's now 10. Okay. I'm just gonna put it down and listen.
Okay,
Should
all
I?
right. Margaret, yes,
Okay.
paragraph 2, please.
Okay. How do the open-minded forgive? They have let go all things that would prevent forgiveness. They have, in truth, abandoned the world and let it be restored to them in newness and in joy, so glorious that they could never have conceived of such a change.
Mhm.
Nothing is now as it was formerly. Nothing but sparkles now, which seemed so dull and lifeless before. And above all are all things welcoming, for threat is gone. No clouds remain to hide the face of Christ. Now is the goal achieved. Forgiveness is the final goal of the curriculum. It paves the way for what goes far beyond all learning. The curriculum makes no effort to exceed its legitimate goal. Forgiveness is its single aim, at which all learning ultimately converges. It is indeed enough.
Now, I want to go back just a little bit into that paragraph where it says, forgiveness is the final goal of the curriculum. It paves the way for what goes far beyond all learning.
Mm.
Do you remember the very first paragraph on the very first page of the course? It says that we are not here to learn the meaning of love, for that cannot be taught. Our curriculum is to learn how to remove the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence. That is what all this thousands of pages in the blue book is all about, is teaching that, not about love itself. So when it says forgiveness is the final goal of the curriculum, it paves the way for what goes far beyond all learning. This is what that first paragraph is referring to. So we do not learn love here. We do not learn the meaning of love. We learn how to keep blocking love's presence in our life. And in doing that, we become aware of how we judge and how we can forgive. Forgiveness is our salvation. Love is not the salvation. Love is what happens when salvation occurs. So this is the final step. This is that last step before we step out of the bridge and God draws us in, takes us to heaven, or opens the gates to heaven, which is always excuse me, which has always been there. Okay, third paragraph, me. You may have noticed that the list of attributes of God's teachers does not include those things which are the Son of God's inheritance. Terms like love, sinlessness, perfection, knowledge, and eternal truth do not appear in this context. They would be most inappropriate here. What God has given is so far beyond our curriculum that learning but disappears in its presence. In other words, when we accept those things as our inheritance, they are beyond the curriculum. They are the next thing after the end of the course. What God has given is so far beyond our curriculum that learning but disappears in its presence. Yet while its presence is obscured, the focus properly belongs on the curriculum. It is the function of God's teachers to bring true learning to the world. That's you guys. He's talking to you. It is given to the teachers of God to bring the glad tidings of complete forgiveness to the world. Complete forgiveness. Blessed indeed are they, for they are the bringers of salvation. There's our job description right there. That's what we are doing. That's what the storefront is all about. To bring the salvation to anyone who approaches us and wishes to teach us what salvation is
Mm.
with their lesson, with their experience of how they may or may not be approaching salvation or even understanding it. That is the lesson that they are teaching me, that I may teach the world. And the reason they are teaching me is because I have asked them to. I am not a victim of this world. I am the projector of this world. This world is the result of my projection of how I have seen myself in separation with God, from God. I am that. I am. I am that. I am. 5 very important words. Very important. By being the source of my knowledge or my lack thereof, and my desire to be taught what it is like to be the salvation of the world. Here I am, Holy Spirit, fill me, be with me, stand with me, teach me how to approach this job description. Teach me how to do this. And I'd asked to be taught by asking my mighty companions to teach me what it is like to either be fully aware of what salvation is or to have no idea what salvation is. In either way, I am here to communicate that job description with everyone, with all my mighty companions, with all my brothers in Christ, my siblings in Christ, all of them. Not a single one can stand outside of the curriculum. Not a single one of them can I deny that teaching, because in doing so, I have judged someone as unworthy of that. So therefore, I have judged myself. Like it said back in the previous paragraph, we are, or it might have been the first one. Open-mindedness comes with a lack of judgment, total lack of judgment. And that is a scary, scary thing when you think about when I think about how I go through my day by day, instant by instant, constantly judging this as that, as worthy or unworthy of my attention, of my love, of salvation. How can I possibly ask for salvation for myself if I can't possibly ask it for every single sibling in Christ? Because they are all worthy of that, so worthy of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's my soapbox. Please talk to me. Talk to me about what you feel about this, what this is doing for you in your mind and in your ability to be a good storefront owner. Anybody, go ahead.
At the moment, that feels like, oh my God, I'm so far away from that.
I know.
Like, oh my God.
And you know what? Last night when I was putting the finishing touches on Jimmy's new book, I was going, I can't do this. How can I do this? How can I be worthy of this? How can something even as powerful as God have such confidence in me being able to do this? I don't have it in myself. And it's only because I'm telling myself that I can't. Yeah.
It's only your ego
Yeah,
telling
exactly.
you can't do
Exactly.
this.
Right.
Well,
And I'll tell
Veronica,
you,
if you look at history, it tells your ego bullshit. You have edited many books beautifully and in big print, so we can read it. So we dispense you of any judgment, and your skills will return lickety split when the time is right.
oh, I'm sorry you brought that up. Because
Well, there you go.
there's
I'm
so
here.
many pages in this book. We've had to reduce the size of the print to get it to fit in the proper
Wow.
size book. But you can order a large print copy.
It's okay.
Okay.
I order his
So-
books. I often don't read them,
Right.
but I listen
Okay.
to his YouTubes over and over again.
Right. And the great thing is that this book will be always will be free on Kindle.
And what is
we've
this
been-
one about?
Oh, and Kindle, you can have it read to you.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
well, not only that, but you can also expand and contract the size of the print. So if you're reading it on your phone or on your iPad or your pad, you can increase it so that it's as big as you want it to be. You can have it 1 word per page if you want. So I just letting you know that I felt so. I went, oh my God, everyone's talking about being able to read it, and okay,
That's
get the
all
Kindle
right, my
version of it.
darling. You are not responsible for every molecule in my life. I
Right.
have some responsibility.
I know, but I just want to let you know that we have a solution to this.
You're
Okay.
so
All right.
decent. Decent, decent,
know.
decent.
It was the whole Kindle thing was my idea anyway. No. Okay.
What is this book about?
The book is called The Master Teacher Within.
Okay, this I know
And-
about.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, I just shipped the final version of it off to Jimmy for his his run through. He says it's gonna take a couple days for him to get through it all to make sure that I didn't screw anything up or anything or didn't change anything that he meant to have stay the same. And then off to Kindle it'll go, and that's it. So it could be by the end of next week that we may have this up.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, Carolyn.
so
There should be an audio version. I'd be willing to read the book.
I think that Jimmy has in the past done audio versions himself, and I think that he will probably do that again. I'm hoping he will actually.
Cool.
so this version that you're talking about, this new version, this is
Mhm.
the one from which Jimmy reads on Monday to
think-
Friday.
Yes,
He's
Wow.
reading pieces
He's
from
reading
this new book.
Cool.
pieces of that. Yes,
Okay.
right. And it is quite profound. But it is also profound in that it has really been a whack upside the head for me when in regards to open-mindedness, because I realized I'm not living up to this, but I realize that my realizing that is a realization in itself and a good thing. So now I have a clearer picture of what it is that I am missing, that I am excluding from my mind. And what I'm excluding from my mind is the idea that nothing can be judged by the ego. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because it is only the ego's only way of judging is how can I keep separate from it? And
Question.
that is exactly the opposite of what open-mindedness is. Open-mindedness is the complete lowering of barriers so that there is no separation, none whatsoever. And this is the one I've got to work on. So I've been having that. I've been putting that right in front of me, putting it right in front of me, not avoiding the message and not avoiding the lesson that this is teaching me here.
Now, I think
So-
something that would be worth discussing is the difference between observing something in our physical world and
Mhm.
judging it.
I think it could be that observing does not include judging. Maybe that's it.
I'm thinking it does. I mean, I'm thinking we observe things because this is what our eyes, ears, nose, senses do.
Mhm.
But for me, the judging comes if I have a preference for it to be one way or another, or a
Right.
behavior to be different. And that is a huge journey for me.
Right.
Applies to everything.
Simply observing means it doesn't mean interacting with it. It just means accepting it as it is, bringing it in, and just letting it flow over us like water around a rock in the river. Judging says I'm building a dam.
Yeah. It's like I can look at a beautiful flower and appreciate its texture
No.
and
Wait a minute.
lines.
Wait. They're beautiful is a judgment.
I
You look
understand
at
it is. It's an observation. It's an observation of something in front of me that pleases my eyes and sight. But I don't try to change the Astromarius into a rose.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are some really incredible flowers that are not beautiful at all.
Well, that's
And it
okay,
is-
honey. I'm just talking
I-
about what's in front of me right now that I'm observing.
Oh,
And yes.
okay. I see.
Oh yeah, there's
All right.
Vladimir that we can observe, and it has a different tone. And then if I can bring it back to observing the flowers, then that
Mhm.
softens my Vladimir view. That's a very good one. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That's so
Okay.
When,
Right.
when you put a label on anything, it's a judgment.
Yes. So be careful of adjectives.
Yeah.
Adjectives are very dangerous.
Because good and bad are judgments.
Mhm.
Beautiful and ugly are judgments.
Right. So practice speaking without adjectives and
Yeah.
see how difficult that is. It's very difficult. But
it sounds like we're the anti-woke.
but the
But that's the
Awake,
lesson we
but
must learn.
anti-woke.
right. Sorry, Virginia.
Sorry.
What were you saying?
I just said that's the lesson we must learn. If there's
Right. Open-mindedness does not include adjectives, does not include phrases of description. Everything has a name, and that is it. And even the difference between an iris and a rose, even those are judgments, instead of just being even the difference between a flower and a dog. Those are judgments. Be aware of the idea that the language that we speak, the words that we use, are simply symbols, and symbols are judgments. So in the true growth of the Son of God, the siblings of God, we no longer see the difference between a dog and a flower. We only accept, and in that way, the world disappears. There is
Yeah, I
no
read that.
need.
I have trouble with that. I can accept
Okay.
the dog and the flower as part of the divine. I'm not
Yes,
judging. It
that-
just is. It's the divine. But in,
But then in the true sense of salvation, the world disappears. There is no more need for a definition between a dog and a flower. Those
maybe
things.
that should wait till I pass and croak over.
Death has nothing to do
Living
with
in
that.
this world,
Death has nothing to do with that.
but I'm living in this world.
You are now, yes, and you're doing a fine job of it. And the more you love the world, the more you can forgive it for it being separate from anything else. I am here to acknowledge that the separateness of things is my proof that I am somehow seeing myself as separate from God. In truth, in my true nature of who I am as God created me, there are no eyes that see dogs and flowers. There are no ears that hear barks and thunder. There are no taste buds that make the difference between granola and squash. All those things, in the true sense of the way God created me, created us as the singular creation of God, we no longer need anything to discern any of those differences or separations or separate things, because we are one in truth with all that is. That is not saying that we won't enjoy the taste of squash or granola, and we won't enjoy the smell of flowers and dog poo, but we will be able to appreciate all of them without senses because we are one with them. So there is no need for granola or dog poo or cars or flowers or Mother Teresa or Vladimir. There is no need for any of that because it is all one, and there is no need for judgment to separate those things and keep them apart from each other anymore, because we are in open-mindedness, truly aware of the fact that judgment is completely unnecessary. And the only thing that is necessary in this curriculum right here, right now, is salvation. Salvation solves all problems, including how do I keep dog poo separate from roses? Our mind does that, our ego mind does that, but in truth, the mind, the Christ mind, doesn't have a need for that. There is no need to keep anything separate from anything else because there is no judgment that does that. And there is no tool like the ego mind that has the ability to do that. Gesundheit.
Bless you. Bless you, my child.
I'm going back to the opening sentence here, which
Yes.
I like the way it's worded. It's you know, it's a beautiful, the centrality of open-mindedness, perhaps the last of the attributes a teacher of God acquires.
Mhm.
Perhaps the last. And that intrigues me.
Hmm.
I mean, it's the last in the list. Other than
Well-
the gifts that we have that we inherited, I guess there's more attributes for us available.
Well, I think what it means by perhaps the last is that there is in the terms of judgment, it's the last. But you remove judgment, it could be the first. You could these 10 things, you could order them in any way you wanted to. Perhaps the last, perhaps the first, perhaps the third, who knows? Okay. In other words, there's no importance, level of importance in between to the judging mind. Trust comes first, because without trust, the judging mind cannot develop the ability to keep these others coming, or build a foundation on which to build the next one and the next one and the next one.
And the faithfulness
Yeah,
that
right. All those.
we all display here so well. And thank you for that.
Oh, well, I thank you, because you remember, and you please keep remembering this. You are my great teachers in this. You are. You cannot deny that, simply because you're here. And if you went away right now, that would be my great teacher as well. So I cannot have a more beautiful example of how to find salvation than what I see before me every instant of every day. But that is only when I exist in the now, right here, right now, in the vertical. If I start going horizontal, I lose it. I lose the ability to learn the lesson. Salvation only happens in the vertical, right here, right now. I will not experience salvation if I'm trying to fix then or when.
There's something in the course that really helps me occasionally when I think of it.
Please.
So it's, I don't know what anything, including this, means. So
Right.
looking at anything, I don't know what anything, including this, means, and I do not know how to respond to it. And I will not use my own past learning as the light to guide me now. And then it said, do you remember this?
Yes, it's one of the
I
first
just-
lessons.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
And you might replace all of that you just said with one word: open-mindedness.
Okay. I mean, it helps me to
Yes.
like, I've also just been listening to, have any of you heard of Story Waters? He does what James has been doing.
Ah,
And there is a 20-minute recording of something called The Art of Allowance. How to, I can't remember. If anybody wants it, I would be happy to send it to you.
Story Waters.
Story Waters. It's a 20-minute, you listen to it, and it tells us from a different point of view how to navigate what we're talking about.
Good. Thank you very
Story
much.
like a book.
Is it STOREY or Y?
No,
RY?
it's story as in I'm telling a story.
Oh,
and
okay.
waters as in just waters. You
Okay.
can find a lot from him on the internet. But at
Okay.
one point he gave away this nugget. It's amazing. Now, I don't know, can I send it to you, Baraka? And
Sure, absolutely. I'd be happy to
I
forward it
don't
on.
have everybody's
Right.
emails.
Yeah, it's
But-
probably it's probably easy to just Google it, Google Story Waters, and then
Can't find it on the internet anymore. This was given,
Oh,
I'm sorry, but more than
Oh,
20
okay.
years ago. Many people have tried, and I keep offering, I'll send it to you if you want it.
please do. Thank you very
Okay.
much. I will be glad to send that out to the whole mailing list.
It might
Absolutely.
be by, I can't think of what it's called because it's kind of a large file. But
That's okay. We'll make it work
okay,
one way or
cool.
the other. Okay.
Yeah,
It
drop
is
box.
just audio. It's not video, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, good.
Just
Okay,
audio.
Audio is fairly small in size, so it should be no problem emailing
Okay.
that. Excellent.
It is amazing.
Good. Thank you very much for that.
My
Any other way to be able to view this? If one way coming into my brain doesn't work, maybe something else does. You know, that's the secret to this is we don't judge anything, we don't exclude anything, we accept it all as being the true lesson of what our mighty teachers, our mighty companions are teaching us, whatever that is. Anybody else have any thoughts about open-mindedness? Anything? Anybody?
I'm thinking, I'm working it through.
I agree. Open-mindedness kind of deletes the need to forgive because everything's the same. And it's much more peaceful. But it's also in this world more challenging to make any kind of decisions of which side you want to participate.
Yeah. And of course you have to take sides, right?
I'm taking my side, whatever that is.
Whatever that is, right?
And it's a flexible side. It changes from here to there, more than one. And that's been kind of my struggle all my life because when people argue, I can always see how both of them are right. You know, they're both wrong, but they're both right at the same time. And
That doesn't make any sense.
And so it's like, well, okay, so that's I think part of the reason why I tend to be quiet in groups, because it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense both ways, you know, what now? And I think if we feel comfortable with that, I think what we experience in this world would be a lot easier on us. I mean, the way I use it, it's like, you know, you were talking about how we're all connected and we're all one and we're all the same. I just see everything outside of me is just a reflection of what I don't want to see inside of me. And if it really bothers me, I really don't want to see it.
Ah.
I mean, that's
Closing my eyes. I can't see.
Yeah, because I have become an expert to shutting off emotions, shutting off, you know, how I feel, what I'm experiencing in this body, because I've had pain for so long that's all I know is having pain every day. And the pain is not real. Logically, I can say that it's not real. And in my heart, I believe it. But in this illusion that I'm experiencing, it feels very real.
Mhm.
And for me, it's like everything's both solid and not, and not. Everything's both right and wrong. Everything's both black and white. Everything is everything.
Mm.
And I'm getting to that point more and more. And in a subtle way, I'm feeling less confused and more joyful. But dealing with the day-to-day illusion is a challenge for me.
Mm. Well, how about this? And this is just a thought that came to my mind. You said that everything is good or bad, painful or not painful. Everything. What if everything is just not?
Yeah.
So that I don't have to give anything a reality that I'm experiencing here. Nothing I experience here has anything to do with my reality.
Yeah. And all my thoughts originate from the illusion.
Right? Until they don't.
Yeah.
Until they don't. And this was the problem I was having with not the problem, but the experience I was having while editing Jimmy's new book is that I am constantly inputting information from this dream world, from this world that I think I'm living in, but I'm trying to view it from outside of that very same dream. And until I can find a balance for that, which I believe is what open-mindedness is, until I can find a true balance for that, I'm up shit's creek without a paddle. I really am. But the good thing about being up a creek without a paddle is that all I can do is go with the flow.
Mhm.
You know, I'm no longer trying to steer or trying to make a way a certain path down or up the river. I am simply allowing myself to be of the river and let the river take me to the ocean. Take me to the ocean. Holy Spirit, let me let go. Let me find the strength in Holy Spirit to let go of my own guidance, of my own necessities, and let the river take me down to the ocean.
Reminds me of Baloo the bear sliding down that muddy hillside into the river and floating along.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When I
Yes,
was
Carolyn.
going through my chemo experience 3 years ago, I watched that often every day. And I
Jungle
would
Book?
image myself, Baloo the bear, Baloo the bear, and it really helped me get through. So when you spoke of that, it reminded me, I still am Baloo the bear sliding down in. When Jimmy talks about diving into the deep end of the pool, no, honey, I'm sliding on in and drifting on down.
We all have versions of what this looks like.
Riding
Yes,
the
Carolyn.
I'm just thinking I'm struggling with this, but all of a sudden it came to me as I see myself on walks and things like that and looking around and seeing everything is the same. Is it like some kind of energy, unidentified specifically, but the energy is floating around and observing the things that my eyes supposedly see in life, the dog, the flower, the Carolyn going for a walk, the people I meet. There's some kind of energy floating around just observing this little movie.
The energy is something we cannot tap into in this world. We can
Right,
acknowledge,
it's the divinity, it's the
right. It's exactly.
it's observing this little movie.
Right. By learning what we are as God created us. That's the only way to truly see this world. Discover in our own way how God, what God created, what we are not separate from. We are not separate from God. God and I, not Baracko, not the meat sack, but God and I are one and the same. The only difference is that I did not create God, God created me. That is the only difference between the two of us. So if I am observing something, if I am holding onto something, if I am feeling something that does not feel, that feels like it's outside of myself, that it's happening to me, that is what I am not.
Oh, it's part of the movie that I'm watching
Exactly.
as an entity,
Yes,
a spiritual entity.
exactly. Yes, Margaret.
I was just going to say, as you were speaking there, I just got a real sense of real excitement, and I haven't seen it this way before, of like, oh my God, this is a journey of exciting discovery, of finding myself. And I think I've perhaps looked at it, oh, it's quite hard work and I don't seem to be getting anywhere. But as you were speaking, I felt something very different. I felt a real excitement welling up.
Cool. See, there's your great teacher right there. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank
Oh,
you.
you were talking about me?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
No,
absolutely.
okay.
Sorry, that was when Baraka was talking. I don't know what he was saying.
But it was Carolyn that was was inspiring me.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you. Oh, thank you, everyone. Yeah.
So
To think about that.
okay,
Honey, I love
Virginia.
your face. You look so surprised that you know, it's so sweet. Yes, this
My
is
mom.
exactly what it is. And you got it. Yeah, you got it. And you shared it in a way we could get it too. So thank you.
Virginia, talk to us.
Well, when she said that, the verse came to me in the Bible. It's not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. And that's what it's all about. It's basically spirit. The finite is not real. It's not who we are. We're infinite.
Yes, and that is the truth of us. So if I see something around
Thank you,
me
Virginia.
or think about myself as less than infinite, I'm not thinking of myself in true mind. The true mind of the creation of God thinks of itself as one with God, which is infinite. There is no beginning, no ending. It is a continuously flowing energy that has not been started, will not stop, doesn't have an on-off switch. I am, in my true sense, with God, infinite.
And it's always been, and it always will be. It's neither good nor is it bad. It's neither right nor is it wrong. It's just is.
Right, it just is.
So I'd like to share something
Yes, Leslie.
because I want to get this more than ever. I am currently going through radiation, and it's my third time, and I've had 3 rounds of chemo, and I've been told that I have metastatic cancer, which means for the rest of my life, this is what I am going to be going through. So, sorry, but many times I feel like I'm failing at this game, whatever, because I just keep doing what they say I need to do, and I'm experiencing pain, which gets me to go. And so if you have anything that would be helpful, I would appreciate it.
Well, and this is something that's tough to say, but what the body is experiencing is not true self. And if the body becomes difficult to deal with, then perhaps, or a choice could be made. Let me say it that way. A choice could be made that the body is no longer serving a purpose. But that does not mean that you, as God's creation, is not serving a purpose. It just means that this meat sack isn't. And any pain that thought brings to mind is damaging to the ego, but it is not damaging to spirit. Spirit does not die. Spirit does not experience anything that can be its end, because spirit does not have an end. That is not to say that if I were in your position, and in some ways we all are moving in this body, we all are moving towards an ultimate conclusion, some more definite than others. But that is not to say that there is not a reason to stay here and be a mighty companion and to be a teacher of God. And perhaps this is what makes you even a greater teacher of God in this lesson that you're moving in, that I am moving in, that we are moving in. We have ego's mind has given us an expiration date. But that does not mean that the Spirit of God has an expiration date. And so if I feel as though I still have a purpose to help bring about salvation to the world, then I'm going to fight like hell to do it. And I'm going to continue to fight like hell until I feel as though I have done all I can to help be the bringer of salvation. And that is where the ego finds greatest pain and where spirit finds its greatest joy.
Mhm.
So now in open-mindedness, as I face my ultimate expiration date, whatever that is, this body's ultimate expiration date, I am in joy with the idea that I have whatever I have this next instant, this right now, right here, right now, to be the bringer of salvation. This is what I can do right here, right now. And the ego hates that, because the ego says, no, all that stuff that happened before, no, all that stuff that's going to happen in the future. You've got to deal with all that stuff. No, only the ego has to deal with that.
Okay, thank you.
Leslie,
Yes,
my heart goes out to you in the biggest way. I wish I could just hug you. I'm hugging you virtually, but well, yeah. Thank you. Do that. My dad used to say that on the phone, when I lived in New York and it was old fashioned phone days, he'd say, put your arms around you, sweetheart. I'm giving you a great big hug over the phone. So thank you for doing that. And then Leslie, I too, in 2008, I went through 6 months of chemotherapy. And I remember at that time reading the Eckhart Tolle book, A New Earth, and it was so important to me. One of these sentences in that book, which was something about how he recommended, in times of stress and such, to stay on, I think he termed it the razor's edge of now. So I pictured a little roof, like a barn or something, and that I was walking along the very top of that. And I knew that I only had one place that was safe for me, and that was the very razor's edge. If I go to the past, danger. If I go to the future, danger. It's like, poison water on either side. And my hope for you, Leslie, is that this experience, well, believe me, it's a gift, because it takes you, if you're willing to let go of the pain, if you're willing to stay on that razor's edge and find one thing after another every single day to keep you in the present moment, even if it's just that breath or that glass of water or looking at a bug on your window or whatever, stay as you can in the present moment. And that is the place of peace. And this sentence in that first paragraph that I read, only the open-minded can be at peace. So if you can get yourself there and be at peace, well, that is open-mindedness, apparently. So because you're not judging, this is bad, this shouldn't happen, why me? When will this be over? Will I die? All those things that keep us from being peaceful. I am going to pray for you to be at peace every moment you can, many, many times a day. And oh my gosh, your tears are making me cry.
I'm sorry. Thank
No,
you.
it's okay.
They have not given me they have not said that it's life-threatening. I've never felt that it is. I just go through whatever I need to go through as it comes up.
Yes, and my cancer could have been, and if for many people it was ovarian. Many people don't make it through, but I did, and I'm like 14 years out now.
Good.
So yeah, getting a lot more practice, and being peaceful.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't want to
Linda.
take up this whole meeting over this, but I thank you so much.
This is what we're here for. This is it. This is right here. This is where the rubber meets the road. Right here, right now.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, Linda.
I just want to acknowledge your courage for choosing this journey and remind you that you're not a failure. You are doing exactly what you need to do. Everything is in divine order. And doctors aren't always right. If they were right, I wouldn't be here today because I was supposed to die a couple years ago.
Remember.
And
Yeah.
And they say that I'm at end stage cardiac disease. So, if you were to see me and you didn't know me, you wouldn't know that. And by looking at you, I see your beauty, I see your strength. And so I wouldn't peg you as somebody with cancer who's dying. You are doing exactly what you need to do in this moment. And I think just remembering that you are beautiful and you are a divine creation of God. And nothing in this world can change that. And you are here taking each step. I mean, compared to Jesus, this is a piece of cake, in my perspective anyway. So I just want to acknowledge your courage, and I just want to remind you that you are perfect just the way you are.
Okay.
I once read that the easiest way to stay in the now is to pet a dog or a cat.
That's
Because
good.
as soon as you start doing that,
Do you have that?
where are you
You
Her
have-
thinking?
wagging her tail.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad.
There she is.
Oh,
It's
what's her
beautiful.
name?
Joy.
Joy.
Joy? Her name is Joy?
Duh.
How perfect is
She really
that?
named herself. It was,
Oh.
yeah. Everybody who meets her, she runs up to people, wagging her tail. She wants to meet everybody, and
Oh, Leslie, I'm
It's
so happy
Joy.
for you.
Joy.
thank you.
Joy. And I'm happy for everyone that Joy encounters, including us. Right
Yeah.
now, I feel the joy.
I love that she loves being in my lap during Zooms.
Yeah. She looks
She
beautiful.
understands.
Yeah.
Right.
She put her paw on my heart a little while ago, and she's done it during the most appropriate times. It's- Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. Wow.
Well, listen, we're coming up on an hour here.
Oh,
I want to entreat anyone else who has any further thoughts about this, about anything that we've talked about here, to please bring forward and be our great instructors in this, please. anyone who has anything else.
Hi, friends. This
Oh,
is
Hi,
Dia.
Dia. Yeah, hi, Dia.
Hi.
Thanks for coming back in.
Yes. Yes, thank you for inviting that final participation. I feel quite sure that every word that came out of each of you could have come out of me.
mm,
And that's such a blessing. Thank you all. You expressed me, and that truly is the I am another you, you are another. It should be I. Correct English, but no, people don't use it. Anyway, thank you for this morning. And I can relate to each of you. And I often want to be where what Barack was expanding on. So, and that is leave this physical body. And then the next moment, I'm the poster child for health and beauty and enthusiasm. And so I think we all have that in us. We just keep going. I love you all so much. Thank you for being being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See you Monday.
Okay. Thank you, Dia. Okay, so to close this down, we are going to start at the beginning of the manual for teachers next week. Who are God's teachers? So what I'm going to ask everyone to do in the email is to define yourself in those terms. Who am I that makes me a God's teacher? Who is that I see when I look in the mirror? Who can I be to be a teacher of God? What can I change? Now we've cheated a little bit because we've already gone through the characteristics, but using the knowledge that we have done over the past 14 weeks of this exploration, how can I now define myself as a teacher of God? How can it be that I am the perfect example of this? How can I be that I be worthy of this job description, for God's sake? Oh my God, that's a lot of weight to put on me. You know, how can I enjoy that? How can I be it? So, in the meantime,
So
I-
where is that in the?
that's
in-
the first chapter of the manual for teachers. This chapter this section of the course that we've been dealing with, the manual for teachers, that where we've been before has been the fourth chapter. Now we're going back to the beginning of
I
it.
see. Okay.
All right.
Baraka, are we
hi.
going to do will we do the introduction as well
To
to the manual?
yeah, that's not bad. Let's start there. Maybe,
I always like to do it.
get us a little running start on that. Okay, so maybe that'll be next week. That'll be the introduction to that. All
Okay.
righty. Now let me go back in here, and this is I've been closing with this, and it's very interesting, especially coming in on the heels of what we talked about today. What am I? I am God's son, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of his love. In me is his creation sanctified and guaranteed eternal life. In me is love perfected, fear impossible, and joy established without opposite. I am the holy home of God himself. I am the heaven where his love resides. I am his holy sinlessness itself. For in my purity abides God's own. And so it is.
so it is.
So it is.
Thank you all very much. I'll have this recording out to you in just a little while. Have a blessed week, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts about the introduction to the manual for teachers. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you
day,
all.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Blessings.
I love you all.
Love you all.
Thanks, Leslie, for telling us all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leslie, I'll look forward to receiving that recording. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Baraka. Thank you, everybody.